Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for tuning into PTV World. You're watching World this morning alongside my wife, fantastic, amazing, knowledgeable, and very wise co-host, Ms. Shiza Hashmi, and I happen to be Shahzad Hassan Khan. Hello, Shiza. The weather's getting a little colder and chilly away in Islamabad. How do you feel today?
Well, hi Shahzad. I feel absolutely great. And well, I feel like there's been a technical difficulty, but it's totally all
Yeah,
right.
we like
The
playing.
beauty of live
Yeah.
show as well. Well, yes, the weather is absolutely great, but I'm so sorry, you guys, I'm out of breath. I was late to work, kind
all
of,
right,
kind
no
of.
problem.
So I just rushed here. You tell me, how has your morning been
Right,
so
I
far?
believe that, my morning's going great because, for all of those nights in Islamabad, whenever it's raining, the one thing which I look forward to every single day is, waking up to fresh air, and not just that, clean and green Islamabad is something which I
Absolutely.
love the most, driving towards workplace. Alhamdulillah, we are very thankful to Allah Almighty that our workplace is actually situated in an area where
It's
it's all Jannat
stunning.
Nazir. Yeah, it's all Jannat Nazir. But
MashaAllah.
other than that, Shiza, today I want to start my conversation on a very different note. And this is something which I might not have shared ever with all our audiences out there in 46 different countries, and that is that, that in life you will always have insecurities with you. You cannot deny the fact. You'll overthink about things as well. And, in life you will always think about, things which can go wrong. They haven't gone wrong so far, but you will keep on thinking about things which can actually go wrong. It might be very instinctive, but then at the same time, obviously, it can be very scary for people who really do not have that belief system which we have. We believe in Allah Almighty. We believe that everything which is meant for us, we will get it. But obviously, you are not going to get it sitting on the couch and, just watching television, be like, Allah maine jo risk likh diya, to mil hi jana. That's not how it happens. So, to my understanding, it was like कि बीज तो लगाना पड़ेगा. You actually have to sow the seed. So if you're not sowing the seed, you cannot really be waiting for the fruit, so that seed probably erupt into a tree and it bears fruit as well. That's one thing. Number two is that whenever I wake up, after my Bismillah, I will always tell myself that, hey, you know what, no matter what happens, whatever goals I have for myself, I have to chase them today.
Okay.
And whatever kind of mindset I am in, it kind of gives me that drive that, okay, Shahzad, you're waking up early in the morning, that's the best thing you're doing, you're going to wrap up your day in a wonderful way. So, kind of motivate your own self. But, amidst COVID, what we have seen is that it has had a greater impact on people, on their mental health as well, on their physical health as well. And that people have actually gone very lazy, because we have seen so many of my colleagues, not from this channel as well, but from other different working environments as well, that they kind of made or use this as an excuse of not to show up at work.
Okay.
So imagine that, people, if they are going to excuse themselves from work without any reason, where will they be in next 5 years? They will still be making excuses.
Absolutely. And Shahzad, I feel like you and I personally have spoken about this. So there are two sides to what Shahzad said. While one is, of course, getting on with your life, where you said you really want to sort of, reap all the benefits of what you did so. The other side is, because I have seen a lot of people do that, they will take their habit as reasoning. For example, you're saying if you're overthinking, if something bad might have happened to you, if you're anxious about something, whatever your reason may be, you are not allowed to bring that as an excuse in what you're going to do in your life, or probably compromise your productivity for that matter. And one thing I'm really, well, I'm so, I don't know what, emotional about this actually. We've spoken about this before. Treating people unkindly and then sort of reasoning it with, oh, main aise feel kar raha tha.
Being insensitive.
Do not give me that. Do not give me that. Absolutely, people have insecurities, Shahzad. You were really right in that, and it's only natural. If you're a human being, at one point in your life, you will definitely have an insecurity. Do not make that a reason to hurt someone.
Exactly. And, ladies and gentlemen, building up on that, obviously, we want to talk about the productivity, how we can enhance it,
Yes.
In marketing terms, they use the words, or probably, in marketing jargon, they say efficiency and efficacy, which, ladies and gentlemen, and there are formulas to kind of increase that as well.
I
so
want
we're going
those
to,
formulas.
so we're going to build up on that as well, how to increase our productivity, efficiency, and that too in given time, so we do not have a lot of time to ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. I'm already 34 years old, and I feel as if half of my life is gone. So I really need to do, something for my kids, for myself, and for the rest of the people who have given us so much love. How can we do that?
Let's
and how
learn.
COVID has had an impact on our productivity is something which we'll be talking about. How to maintain your mental health is something which is very important. So we're going to have people from both the fronts as well, different walks of life. but they're going to collaborate today to give us a holistic
Yeah.
view of this is how we can actually produce our, or probably increase our productivity. So ladies and gentlemen,
Let's do it.
without any further ado, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by the master of efficiency and efficacy. He's over here with us. 36 years of extensive, experience, and the kind of subjects he's gone through, ladies and gentlemen, or he's studied, it includes marketing as well, it includes discipline as well, includes multiple facets. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, we're very lucky that we've been actually joined by, for the very first time, an executive development coach. He happens to be an entrepreneur and a trainer as well. He is Mr. Mohsin Lodhi. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have the same energy back. So we are on the
Right.
same wavelength, which
We
I feel
crave for that.
wonderful about as well. And alongside Mr. Mohsin Lodhi, ladies and gentlemen, we're lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody who's going to let us know how to kind of look after our mental health. She happens to be clinical psychologist. She is Dr. Ruhma Shahid. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Walaikum salam. Thank you for the warm welcome.
Thank you very much for joining us. Wonderful to have you.
All right, so I think the discussion should actually begin with Mr. Lodhi over here. Let us know if there are any stats to make us understand if productivity at workspaces went down or went up during the pandemic. Let us know, please.
Thank you.
And the factors. And the factors that contributed to
Sure.
it.
First of all, when it started, what happened was it was a very tough time.
Yeah.
And for the SMEs especially, they had to close down their offices. So that was the same thing to do.
Yeah.
And productivity went up in
Went
the first
up?
place. Yeah,
Oh.
exactly. It went up because the statistics said because you are saving time on traveling. And when you are in the office, you do waste time on socialization and interruption and distractions. So when you were at home, productivity went up to 40%.
Wow.
This is statistics I'm sharing with
Yes,
you.
of course.
But prolonged lockdown has created mental some upsets. What happened was three things has happened especially. First of all, the mental well-being of the people who have been locked down for such a prolonged time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second one is their safety, because they were unable to go there and they cannot go into the market. Even staying at home is very precarious, basically,
Yeah.
because you have to keep the social distancing, etc., etc.
Okay.
And third thing was, which affected the whole thing up, the productivity, is environment. 5 things impact us, and the very first one is environment,
Okay.
as a matter of fact, because our homes, they are not geared up for work.
That's true, that's true.
You see? So you having the monotonous kind of environment makes you depressed, and then frustration creeps up and you start feeling depressed, as a matter of fact. So you do not know how to handle that one. So we have come up with I have come up with some certain tips, basically, how to handle that one as well.
And we will talk about that, and we're going to share visuals, ladies and gentlemen, because Mr. Mohsin made sure that that everybody is, and that's true. That and this is something which I was even sharing with Shiza, that that my photographic memory is better than my brain memory otherwise. So I think that while playing visuals and then understanding will be a wonderful presentation for people. But sir, there's one more thing. Since I mentioned earlier that that there were a lot of people who actually used COVID as an excuse. But then there were people who were really very scared of it. They were like, okay, because 3 million people have died all over the world due to this pandemic, which is very
So
unfortunate.
unfortunate.
So imagine for somebody who's actually having health issues already, thinking about whether to go for their job or not, or probably, kind of save their life. So if it was a very tough challenge for anybody to kind of choose, because you have to run the household and then you have to save yourself as well. So you save yourself, you will always be able to run your household, inshallah. But to run the household within the pandemic was a difficult situation.
It is.
Do you agree to that?
I agree with it.
So it wasn't always an excuse, sometimes, it can probably be the other way around as well, which is why I'm going to move on to you. Now, having this fear of dying is obviously with everybody. There are people, who get panic attacks. There are people who actually, after a single second will start to check their pulse, and they feel, they're anxious, there's anxiety, there's so many things. They've been within their houses for so long. It has had a very negative impact on people. And this is
Absolutely.
something which I mentioned in 2018, that by 2020, a lot of these cases are actually going to increase. And there was a study all over the world that this is going to happen, and it happened. What do we do to protect ourselves, to protect this mentality of ours?
Right. So, well, first of all, honestly, I think we're doing great by normalizing these conversations regarding mental health, because it's very infrequent these days. It's not a common thing. I see people being scared about the stigma attached to these things, and being very scared about talking about their mental health. But I think it's good what you guys are doing and making it more common, talking about mental health. So the anxiety and the depressive thoughts related to working from home, those are common, yes. But it's not something that's new to us, because we are dealing with mental health problems even pre-COVID, right? We are dealing with this, malfunctioned infrastructure that we have of mental health in our country, where people are not aware of who to talk to during these times. So I think it's more important that when we're working from home, especially this Zoom fatigue that we have, online meetings. I mean, I've done that. Sometimes I get to be on Zoom meetings throughout the day, and I know how hard it can get.
Yeah.
So it's important to see, the easiest thing we can do is to maybe take a 2 minutes break during those meetings and just walk around the house just to breathe some fresh air in. I think that's where we should start, and that's the easiest thing that we can do, just to have stable and, a sane mental health.
Wonderful.
Absolutely, that is true. Yes, Ms. Roma, Dr. Roma. But when we're talking about the mental health of a person who, used to go to work, of course, and now the scenario, the entire picture has changed. So while yes, the first thought that comes to one's mind is yes, it is common. It is happening to hundreds of thousands of other people who are in the same boat. So maybe I can deal with it. But when it comes to practically dealing with it, your mind is clouded, and thus, of course, now your productivity is being compromised, sort of. So what are some of the things that we might do to refreshen our mind and to actually contribute as much as we should?
See, the most common factor that kind of hinders and affects your productivity is mental health and the stresses related to mental health. The first one could be fear of being lonely, fear of not, fulfilling expectations, losing as well. So it's important to, and with all these fears and with all these mental health stressors comes lack of focus and concentration, which again affects your productivity. So at the end of the day, what's important is to, take care of your mental health. Go out there, talk to somebody, use your coping mechanisms. Now, I do understand during this time we were not able to, do the things that we used to in order to have a sane mental health, like going to the gym or just going outside to the parks just to get some fresh air. We don't do that anymore. So again, it's the easiest thing that we can do is to just pick up your phone and call a friend and tell them what you feel.
To talk.
Yeah, just to talk and stay connected.
And with every year since we are growing as well, so there was a time when all of us friends used to sit together, talk about life, talk about things. And now eventually what happens is that, since you're in that age group, that you, most of the time when you sit together, you're talking about work. So I think that's more stressful as well, and it's one of the causes of you being upset, because you're not talking about life with anybody, you're not sharing it. Now coming back to you, Sir Mohsin, obviously we want to share your images which you brought so that we can give a generic awareness to all of those people who are out there about having to increase productivity and your efficiency as well. So can we have the pictures, please, so that Mr. Mohsin can start with the presentation?
Sure.
I think it will be wonderful. Please, let's play the pictures. Sir, over to you.
Yes.
All right. So while we do manage to get the pictures on the screen as well, go on, please, Mr. Lodhi. We have them.
Yes.
Slowly, because then, of course, we have to understand as well.
Go back, please. Oh, please.
Okay, so the slides are going to move,
Okay.
So they're in a loop. The previous slide is going to come back, but you please start to explain that, what we really need to do.
The very first one is, as I mentioned, is the environment. You need to create the working environment. For that, you need to have a right table, which is ergonomic, and right chair as well.
Okay.
I have seen people using this, what you call it, dining table.
I was going to say.
And the couches. That's wrong, to be very honest with you, because you are going to sit for more than 8 hours.
Yeah.
You need to have ergonomically designed, which fits to your body, basically.
Exactly.
That kind of chair is very important. And then two more things which are very important are, first of all, the natural light, because this darkness, it creates gloominess.
All right.
and you automatically become depressed.
Exactly.
And it should be airy as well. And second thing which you need to have is the man-made light. It should be well lit when you are working, basically. And the table, again, it should be ergonomic. So that's how you create the environment.
Okay.
And if you can put some certain plants alongside, it will give you a good feeling.
Oh, exactly.
Yes.
Okay,
Oh,
that's
okay,
a
that's
good
wonderful.
idea. That's
So
like-
building up on that, because this is something which I have always felt, so every morning if I'm going to get up, and if I did not see the sun throughout the day,
Yes.
I feel very upset about
Yes.
this. And I want the light to be there while I'm having my breakfast, if I'm doing something.
Yes.
I want the sunlight to be there.
True.
Does it really have an impact on somebody's performance, the way it is, or the kind of ambience they put themselves into?
Yeah, and adding on to that as well, so that of course you can answer collectively.
Yeah.
So someone very close to me, of course, has been having productivity troubles because everything moved work from home, right?
Yep.
So I realized that, and I sort of set them in office space with, like what you said, right, with plants and their favorite posters of their movies and everything in a chair and whatnot, right in front of a beautiful view window. But their work has a lot to do with editing, which has to be done in a dark room. So nothing worked out for them. That only adds to the frustration. So what do we do?
But you're a wonderful human that you
I
did it for
tried,
somebody.
man, because I don't want to see them like that.
Exceptions are there.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about the majority of the people.
Yeah, of course.
You need to have that one. Answering to your question, yes, it does help, because unless you get the sun, because sun gives you energy.
Yeah.
And the morning air also gives you a lot of energy as well,
True.
basically.
Okay.
So you need to have, for your mental health, you need to have at least 20 minutes walk,
Yeah.
brisk walk, I would say.
Okay.
Or just get yourself exposed to sun, as a matter of fact, do some stretching, etc., etc., and then come back to your working bench.
Work, okay.
Okay. So this is how you are going to become more productive, and this is not only the environment.
Yeah.
Then you need to have the whole plan for the day, as a matter of fact, which
Okay.
you don't have.
How?
As a
How?
matter of fact.
Yeah.
Make the to-do list, because if you do not know what you are going, where you are going, you cannot reach there, as a matter of
That's
fact.
true.
You need to have certain plan for the day. They say, if you are planning to fail, then you are failing to plan, then you're planning to fail, basically.
That's true.
So if you don't have a plan, you are going to get failed,
That's
basically.
interesting.
So why we get frustrated? This is the major question. We get frustrated because of three things. When the job do not get done, they are unfinished, we get frustrated, as a matter of
Yeah.
fact. When we don't have the goals, and we say, oh, where the whole day is gone, as a matter of fact.
24 hours
we,
seem less.
we
Absolutely.
get frustrated.
Yeah.
And then when you have everything in written, and you say, okay, I have achieved this, I've achieved it, then the sense of accomplishment automatically
It's going
comes
to be
in.
there.
out, yeah.
And you become energized, as a matter of
Exactly.
fact. Out of 10, you say, okay, I've done 70%, I've achieved 70% today. You are the victorious person.
Exactly.
What happens if
Right.
you don't write it, for example? Let me give you a
Yeah.
little example.
Yeah.
If you don't write it, the 30% you have not done, they really, I would say, cloud your whole mentality.
Absolutely.
And somebody asks you, how was the day? Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't do this one.
Yeah.
No, 70% you have done, you don't remember it, as
Yeah.
a matter of fact. So that's the beauty of writing down the goals and the to-do list every day, and cross them off, and you keep it in front of you, and you know how to.
That's
You're
wonderful.
so well spoken. I
Yeah.
love it.
Imagine if the to-do list involves somebody whom you love as well, just having the picture right in front of your table and just be like that. Oh my God, man. But yeah, moving on, sir. Now
Then you're not accomplishing anything.
yeah, there are two things that I need to talk about. Now, Dr. Ruhma, I'll move on to you as well. Number one, obviously, this is something, sir, which involves you as well. So, people having the idea, but not to have the idea how to execute is something where the idea is going to go to waste. Number one. Number two, why is it that every single day we actually have to kind of fight with our brain? And I'm going to give you an example. For example, I go to the gym. I know that every single day I have to run for 30 minutes on the treadmill. Every day I have to convince my brain कि भाई भागना है यार, भागना पूरा करना है इसको. Now gym is one example. Coming down to work, it's the same. अच्छा यार fresh होना है, I need to look fresh, I need to do great as well. Why do we have to convince our brain every single day? Why cannot brain be in harmony with our heart or whatever we desire? Why do we have to go against it every single time? It's our brain. It needs to kind of complement our personality
Oh, don't you
rather than becoming challenging for us. Please.
Right. But see, it's important to have this push every morning, something
Yeah.
to motivate you. And it could be anything, right? Maybe for you it's the gym. Maybe for someone else it's just, seeing a picture of their parents in front of them. So that drive, that push is important. Or it's not that, for some people, they don't really need 15 or 20 minutes before getting out of the bed every day in order to, drive themselves and push themselves. For some people, it's just like, it's just innate now. It's just like, it's just there. It just
need
comes.
coffee.
No, but I think I will relate. I will give a better understanding so that people can understand. Now imagine, since I know that I have to kind of do my cardio for 30 minutes every single day before starting my workout. So if I'm going to stop on the 29th minute, I'm actually going to curse myself the entire day that, hey, you know what, it was just one more minute. You could have pushed yourself, and I do not feel good about it. So every single day I'm pushing, I'm like, man, no matter what happens, I'm going to complete these 30 minutes because I do not want to curse my own self. That, that I was able to do so, and I didn't do so as well.
That's right.
But how do we bring it in harmony with our heart? The brain and the heart works together.
See, sometimes we have these really high expectations from ourselves that if we don't fulfill them, we tend to just, drain our day and our energies. So because of that one thing, our entire day just goes down. So it's important to not have expectations sky high. We have to limit them as well and see, the things that are in our control, we should just go for them, and those which are not, we should just, let them go.
That's true.
That's the easiest way to spend life.
Now the idea bit.
Yeah, of course. And the same thing too, Mr. Lodhi, and also, why is it a bad thing? Because I feel like there's a bad connotation to it, to set higher standards for yourself.
As a matter of fact, you need to set higher standards, otherwise you cannot reach over there, as a matter of fact. There's a science called you get what you expect.
Of course, I 100% believe in it.
Yes, law of attraction, that's another one.
Yeah.
So you need to set the higher standards. Otherwise, if you don't set them, you are not going to achieve them basically, because you will still remain in your comfort zone.
That's true.
Coming back to your question, why we are unable to achieve our ideas, as a matter of fact. You need to have, first of all, to achieve anything, you need to have the burning desire. The desire which really creates a fire in your belly. Yes, exactly. In your belly, there's a fire basically. And it doesn't let you sleep, that you are going to get it. Then you will automatically. And secondly, why we get demotivated after a week, we do the jogging and everything, because we are not yet convinced the benefits it's going to bring us. As a matter of fact, until unless we know about the benefits of the thing we are doing basically, so we are not yet convinced that these are the benefits I'm going to reap after certain time. So that's why there's no harmony between the head and heart. Head and heart will only work when we see this is the outcome I'm going to get after a certain time. I mean, you eat apple a day, it's not going to bring the results within a week. It may take 5 years. But you need to be convinced in your heart, what I'm doing is the right thing I'm doing basically.
So, Mr. Lodhi, are you saying that the human nature needs to be incentivized to increase productivity?
It's one of the motivation, as a matter of fact.
I think we don't do that.
Sorry?
We are habitual of it.
Exactly, because there are 6 motivators for us basically. And that's we need change. I mean, if there's no change, we don't get motivated.
And those 6 motivating factors are?
Like curiosity.
Okay.
Then growth.
Okay.
Then sustainability.
Wonderful.
And 3 more.
Okay, it's wonderful. I think we can work with 3 so far.
Exactly. So curiosity is great motivator. Coming back to your initial efficacy, how can we increase the efficacy and efficiency, as a matter of fact?
Please let us know.
Efficacy is a product of belief and effort. Ability.
Okay.
Now we see that I have seen a lot of able people, but low belief, lack of confidence. So when we on a scale of belief on this continuum, you need to have belief greater than your ability, as a matter of fact.
True.
And this is what they say: you achieve what you believe in.
True.
So you need to have greater belief. But that makes you confident, as a matter of fact.
True. And for all our audiences who are out there as well, this is something which I kind of live my life with, and that's a rule. That, it's not the talent, it's not the ability, but it's the blessing of Allah Almighty, I think, in the first place, because 100%. Gratitude is something which I've seen will always pay you back. The more you're going to thank Allah Almighty, the more you will be blessed as well. And this is something which I follow with all my heart as well. But sir, now moving on, this is the most important aspect of our conversation in this program, and that is that, you know, ever since growing up in Pakistani household, you will always get to know, beta ko bada kaam karna. You know, so, and you know, my father used to actually tell me for a longer period of time, beta ko bada kaam karna bada. And every time I used to ask him, kaun sa kaam karna hai bhai jo bada hai? They would have no clue about it.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, so imagine the kind of mentorship we're giving to our kids without any clue, without any destiny, without any pathway. We just kind of telling them every single day, beta ko bada kaam karna, padhoge nahi to chaprasi ban jaoge. Now, where do you think that, what do you think that kid will think about? Imagine, I'll give an example, that just before I started my own business, I didn't knew how to execute things, all right?
Okay.
And this is something that, you know, when you take the first step, things kind of clear right in front of you, you know your direction gradually with every single step. So you always have to take the first step. People over here in Pakistan certainly have no idea about what the first step is. What is that first step? What is that badi thing?
Okay. First step is taking action.
Yeah.
For success, you require two things.
Okay.
One is discipline. The other one is perseverance.
True.
Right? Now, my definition of success is few disciplines adhered every day.
Okay.
Every day. Okay?
Okay.
And then I always say, I was telling to my son this morning, minor initiatives create major impact. We don't take minor initiatives. We are looking for the major initiative.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. It's the minor initiatives which takes you towards
Which grows into a bigger initiative. right?
Exactly.
Oh, that's
it
true.
creates the major impact, as a matter of fact. So you need to do, you do only for 6 minutes, 10 minutes, but do it daily, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
Bruce Lee said one thing, that I'm not scared of a person who tries million kicks. I'm scared of a person who try one kicks million times.
Exactly.
Oh, right.
That
Amazing,
makes you
amazing.
champion,
That's
basically.
true. And the research even says that, you know, if there's something which you've actually spent doing 10,000 or more hours, you know, you're going to get that muscle memory. So no matter wherever you go, it's just going to go into that direction. You know, so,
Right.
which obviously is very important. But
That's
coming down to
true.
you with the same question, you know, teaching our kids every single time, beta kuch bada karo, without telling them what bada is. And, you know, I'm going to agree to Lodhi Saab. I mean, imagine in today's world, if you are to give an example, let's talk about Facebook. Facebook started as a project within a university, and gradually it is one of the tech
got
giants as
bigger,
of now.
yeah.
You know, talking about Instagram, talking about Twitter for that matter. It started, I mean, even Facebook, ladies and gentlemen, or probably IBM for that matter, started in somebody's garage, you know, and that's how it became big. So how important it is for us to kind of mentor our kids in a way where we guide them, that they see the direction, that this is where we need to go, the way they see the path, that okay, this is the path we need to pick up for ourselves.
Right. See, for the new parent, right?
Yep.
See, the parents nowadays, I'm not talking about the old generation, who used to give us like huge goals, you know, if this is what you have to do, if you have to be something, be an engineer, be a doctor, or, you know, stuff like that. But these days, it's important to tell our kids that, you know, do something important and have an impact on small things every day, and, you know, go from there. Take small steps, and that's to begin with. Don't just, you know, think about reaching the last step in the first place. So it's important to, you know, have, you know, make a small impact, and that's how you're going to start. I was reading this example the other day where this, so it was about NASA, and this janitorial work, this guy who used to do a janitorial work over there, he used to, so there was a visit by the president over there, and he asked him, so what's your job description over here? And he goes like, so I'm helping a man to go to the moon, right? So just imagine his mindset. He's looking at the bigger picture, right?
Absolutely.
And that's what motivates him to come there and clean up every day. So I think
like
it's important to have this bigger picture in your head and to, you know, think big.
Wow, wonderful.
I think you sort of did wrap this segment up for all of us in the perfect term that could have been possible as well. I love this, you know, bigger picture mindset. There are some times, I'll be very honest, I cannot sort of, you know, get my grip onto that as well, but I wish. I think this is a task for my own lifetime as well, to be that person where I can see things beyond what I can see right now. And I think that is where you get to success as well. Thank you so much, you both, for being here. You both were so well spoken and so informative as well, Mr. Lodhi,
Thanks
Dr.
for having
Ruhma.
us.
Thank you so much.
Thank
It
you
was
so
our
much.
pleasure.
Wow, it's wonderful. And you just adding on to the kind of example you shared as well. So this is an example where I'm not going to quote a name, but you know, so this gentleman was in New York and was standing on top of the tallest building then. It's actually an incident from back in 1970s as well. So
Okay.
the then president of the United States actually told that gentleman that, sir, you're actually standing at the top of the tallest building in the world. And that gentleman replied that, sir, you're mistaken, but the tallest building is actually under my foot. So, that's the kind of mindset we're actually talking about.
Interesting.
But ladies and gentlemen, there are people, there are parents who actually are kind of so dedicated towards parenting and making sure that their children grow up to be such amazing people that that the rest of the world is going to take inspiration from them. And such a gentleman has actually brought their daughter to our studios from Lahore at night, drove all the way, made sure that that if this is the direction their daughter needs to go in, that we are going to be full of support for her. That's what we're going to be talking about in the next segment. Let's see how will it go. Good morning.
The Badshai Mosque, or the Royal Mosque in Lahore, commissioned by the 6th Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb in 1671 and completed in 1673, is the second largest mosque in Pakistan and South Asia and the 5th largest mosque in the world. Epitomizing the beauty, passion and grandeur of the Mughal era. It is Lahore's most famous landmark and a major tourist attraction. Capable of accommodating 5,000 worshippers in its main prayer hall and a further 95,000 in its courtyard, it remains the largest mosque in the world. From 1673 to 1986, a period of 313 years, when overtaken in size by the completion of the Faisal Mosque in Islamabad. Today, it remains the second largest mosque in Pakistan and South Asia and the 5th largest mosque.
Welcome back to Well This Morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Shazad Khan. I'm Shazad Hashmi. And in the first segment, we learned something so important that to have a healthy mindset, you should take on things day by day rather than have one large goal and actually work for it your entire life. Exactly. So what are some of the healthy things that we can do? Shazad actually linked us very well in the first segment that parents now are doing a great job at parenting without having the pressure on their kids. Beta kuch padha karo, kuch ye karo, kuch wo karo. Because to have a good mindset, you don't need to do something that big. So it can be something as small as probably, cooking food, or as large as making a beautiful painting with your own hands and that talent as well.
Or probably at a very young and tender age, making your own YouTube channel, which actually has a lot of subscribers as well. So ladies and gentlemen, this amazing Kate we are talking about, we want to share a video first, and once you guys will come back, we will introduce and we will be talking to her. Let's see who she is, but first, take a look at this video.
Let's do it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by this young, talented little princess angel over here in the studios with us, who happens to be a blogger and an artist, and she is the one and only Miss Rida Naqvi. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum assalam. How are you guys?
Absolutely perfect, and thank you very much for joining us, Rida. It's wonderful to have you over here. You drove all the way with your father from Lahore today to just be on our show. We are glad, we are thankful from the bottom of our heart.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
It was our pleasure, actually, Rida. And well, first of all, what work! You're amazing, mashallah. We saw your videos, we saw your pictures, and you guys, this one I'm hiding over here is also Rida's work. First things first, when did you start drawing this all? At what age did you realize you have the talent?
It was 4 years ago. I think this was actually from grade 4, and now I'm in grade 8.
Oh my God, Shazad, I didn't even know how to
still
hold the
looks
pencil.
very
And
new,
this is
though.
my first ever canvas, actually.
It still looks very new to me. So,
Thank
you know,
you.
you're overprotective about your paintings and the pieces of art, which I believe is great. And you're doing something today as well, over here, right in the studio. So,
Can
you
you
share
show
it
it to
with
the
our
camera?
audiences as well?
So you guys, while we talk to Rida, she has a blank canvas and she's going to eventually draw a painting onto it as well. Yeah, you can carry on with your paints.
Thank you.
While we talk to her, so it's sort of a surprise for us all what comes out, inshallah. I'm really excited. So Rida, sorry that we are going to disturb you, okay, while you draw as
That's
well.
okay.
So your parents, do they realize that it's a healthy thing to have first of all a habit of your own, a hobby of your own,
Yes, definitely.
and they're supportive of your art?
Yes.
Right.
My
Do
mother
they
is
have- Yeah, go
my
on.
mother is actually the backbone of my YouTube channel. Like, she supports me all the time.
That's
Wow.
so sweet.
That's wonderful. Why only the mother? Because your father drove you all the way
Yes,
from Lahore to
definitely.
Islamabad, yeah?
But like, it was mainly my mother's idea. I'm not saying my father didn't cooperate. He definitely did.
Mashallah.
But both of them were actually really supportive.
Okay, Rida, so that's wonderful. But you know, having such a talented kid in one's family, obviously parents go an extra mile. You know, so you just told us that, you know, you were in 4th grade when you actually did your first canvas. So for the very first time when you were introduced to paint or paint colors or to the canvas, who did that for you?
It was actually my teacher, my school teacher. It was our normal art class in our school, and our teacher told that we're supposed to paint landscape. She showed us an image and we just had to copy it, and as I followed the steps, it just turned out amazing.
That is nice. So I think you were just born with the talent,
Yes,
right?
definitely.
Okay, that's nice. So what are, now that over time, it's been 4 years, you mentioned that you have been painting as well. What do you feel is your area of interest? Do you like landscapes? Do you like portraits? Do you like just watercolors on flowers? What is it that you like?
I actually have interest in oil painting. I haven't tried it yet. I really want to.
Isn't this oil painting? I thought it
No,
was.
that's acrylic painting actually.
Oh, wow, okay.
And so I usually watch YouTube videos related to oil painting, so I really want to try that really soon.
And you haven't done it yet?
No, not yet.
But I'm sure you'll do great at
Yes.
it already. While you do continue with your drawing as well, I'm going to ask a question to Shazad too.
Yeah.
So are you good at drawing?
No?
Do you have any skill like artistic that could actually be good for your cognitive skills as well?
Well,
Other than, of course, being amazing on
I
screen.
mean, I cannot, you know what, I cannot really be very honest about it because, you know, since it is me telling about my own self, so I don't know whether I'll be doing justice with it or not. But, you know, kind of speaking about that, my drawing is horrible.
Why?
I think in the 2nd or the 3rd grade, I kind of learned to draw probably a duck. You know, that's something which I can draw as of now. Or probably the house we used to do it with mountains and sun on top of it in the arts class. That's the only art I have. Other than that, probably I think that I can sing or rap.
You
This
can.
is one thing which I want to build up on as well. But coming down to you, you know, I think your aesthetic sense is good.
Well, it's just the sense, Shazad. It doesn't come out actually. You know that I would love to be a painter or, you know, just to know how to draw.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's so funny. I have such a huge confidence about me being a painter, Shazad. I draw every day. I paint every day, of course, sometimes even digital. And it's always so bad, but I still do it.
So, you know, okay, what we can do is we're going to make a promise today. I'm going to draw a duck, okay, bring it to the studios tomorrow.
Okay.
And what are you going to draw?
Well, I'm working on my husband's portrait digitally.
Really?
Yeah.
Digitally?
Yeah.
Digitally
I'm doing
is
it-
easier,
Oh,
no?
no, with
Really?
my hand. Every feature I'm doing on Photoshop.
Really? So you
Yes.
can bring that and I will bring a picture of the duck as well. So tomorrow we
So
will
much
have a
pressure.
Yeah, so tomorrow we will have a fair analysis of who's actually got the skill as well. So
And you guys can vote, actually.
yeah, and it's going to be a healthy competition. Even though I do not believe in healthy competition, competitions
It's
can
a
never be healthy
competition.
because it's competition. But going back to Rida now, so Rida, you know, since for us, you know, we do a TV show, if it goes good, you know, our producer tells us, Jamshaid Saab, that, you know, you guys did a great job. The rest of our day is good. Now, when you're painting, you know, what kind of satisfaction do you get from painting? What kind of feeling do you get, you know, once the painting is complete?
Yeah, I actually feel really nice. Sometimes actually I'm not in a mood to painting, so it actually, sometimes I do destroy the painting. But I always have my mother at my back, and she always tells me when something is right and it's wrong.
Okay.
Are you
So,
critical? Do you think, do you often criticize your own work a lot?
yes, definitely.
Really?
I'm like, Mama, this is ugly.
Aw.
That definitely happens.
And then does she agree with you as well?
Yes,
That, okay,
sometimes.
हाँ बेटा ये ugly लग रहा है.
But she always tells the truth so that I can fix my problem.
Wow, it's
That's
wonderful.
really
And you know, this is
nice.
something which I like the most, because half of the time if somebody is going to come up to me and be like, sir, ये painting कैसी बनी है? बहुत आला है, क्या बात है? You know, you just do not feel like telling them that, yeah, you know, there's something wrong with it, yeah.
But that's what it is, right? I feel like only the family members or only your parents can be that sincere and that true to you.
Exactly.
So Rida, you are very lucky in your support system, and you're just in 8th grade. So do you want to carry this on with your life, inshallah?
Yes, I will carry this on as a hobby. I do want to study sciences too in the future. So this will always be with me as a hobby.
That is
Because
amazing.
you know, this is one thing I was thinking, that, you know, for somebody who's so talented at your age, probably should go to NCA and, you know, have an official
I
degree.
might decide about that in the future.
All right. So, you know, so ladies and gentlemen, we're actually going to keep that for future as well. So probably, you know, in 10th grade or 12th grade, whenever you decide, you're more than welcome to come back on the show.
Of
If
course.
it still exists, inshallah, as well. Now, coming down to YouTube. Now, you, alhamdulillah, happen to have 1.17K subscribers on your YouTube channel as well. I saw the videos, the editing, everything just superb. So now you're painting, you go to school, obviously you're in the 8th grade, and then you're YouTubing. So how do you kind of sail in all of these three boats or ships, if I am to say that?
It's actually a bit hard to manage because I get a lot of schoolwork. But as I said, my mother is always with me and she tells me how to manage everything, and it just turns out amazing.
Does it ever happen that you're like, Mama, homework aap kar dein, painting main karungi?
Yes, definitely. That happens.
Really?
Yes, yes,
So then
That's nice.
she does that, right?
yes.
So, you know,
Actually,
speaking
sometimes.
about school, since you're so good at painting, sketching, oil paints, YouTubing, what about your school grades? You know, if you do not mind me asking, you know, so.
No, I'm actually an intelligent student.
Really?
We
Wow.
don't doubt
You know,
that.
so-
We don't doubt that.
Wow, I think she's the game, ladies and gentlemen. So she's good in school, she's good in painting, she's good with YouTubing as well. So if I'm to ask, I'm sorry that I'm doing that, so out of 100%, what percentage do you get usually?
It's in the 90s mostly.
And this was the reason why I actually asked you this question, because there are a lot of kids out there, you know, if they're good at something, you know, they will make an excuse to their parents. अब हम ये कर तो रहे हैं ना, ये इतना अच्छा कर रहे हैं तो अब खैर है ना, इससे कोई फर्क नहीं
There
पड़ता.
should be a balance, right?
So obviously there are a lot of kids who are going to take inspiration from you, that you know that you, mashallah, whatever capacity you've stepped into, if you have come up as an artist or a YouTuber or a blogger, I think you've done a tremendous job even as a student, even as a daughter. And this is something which we want people to understand. So now, you know, since you do so many things, obviously your parents might tell you every single day that, yeah, wow, Rida, you're doing a phenomenal job, you're doing a wonderful job as well. So at times, you know, it gets to you as well. You start to feel as if, you know, I'm something. Does it ever happen to
Yes.
you as well? It does?
I actually feel proud of myself.
That's a good thing. That's
But
a good
feeling
thing.
proud is good. Feeling proud is good. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Feeling proud is good. But sometimes being arrogant just because of the fact that you're so talented can
No, I
actually...
don't think that happens.
Really?
Yes.
नहीं मम्मा अभी नहीं करनी ना पेंटिंग मैं कह रही हूँ आपको. No?
Sometimes, maybe a little bit, but
Or probably your puppa or khala asking you to make a painting for ourselves and you're in no mood because you know you have so much work to do.
no, I do listen to them because, you know, I just feel like I should listen to them. You can make excuses from your parents, but I just like to follow.
That's nice. That's really sweet. So towards the end, Rida, you let us know who is this one painter, dead or alive, that you really look up to and you wish you would meet.
Bob Ross, actually.
Okay, what about his work?
I love how his techniques are so simple, but it turns everything amazing. Like, if he draws a green line, it somehow turns into a tree. Like,
Beautiful.
It's just amazing. I love his techniques.
think
And
I'm
I
going to
love
go
your
and look
observation.
for Bob Ross
Thank
over the internet as well. But thank you very much, Rida, for taking out time. You certainly made our show amazing with your presence, and you were definitely an inspiration for all of those kids who are out there who want to do something in their life. Thank you very much for joining us. And thank you to her parents as well, who kind of supported her in whatever she wanted to do, ladies and gentlemen. And this is how people do big things, you know.
Yes.
She started doing all of this when she was in the 4th grade.
And this is her first painting?
We imagine what she
Wow.
will be doing. You know, that's the big thing we were talking about. ये है वो बड़ा काम जिसके बारे में हमारे वालिदैन कहते हैं और इनके वालिदैन ने करके दिखाया.
Absolutely, and I absolutely love that how it is the environment we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. If you have, of course, parents, if you have guardians, it's just the environment that you're growing in that needs to be healthy. You don't need people to actually take you down every time when you're doing or thinking about doing something that makes you feel fresh. Like Rida over here, she has stricken the right balance in terms of studying, family, and then developing onto her hobby as well, which is painting. If you have any similar stories, do let us know. We'd love to hear from you on our Facebook page with the name of
Well, this morning.
on Twitter,
Well, this morning without a G.
YouTube.
Well, this morning.
Yes, and the repeat of this show you will be able to catch.
5 past midnight. Till the next time, look after yourselves. And if you guys live in the Twin Cities of Islamabad and Rawalpindi, the weather outside is amazing. Go out, have some pakoras, and relax. Look after. Good morning.
Good
Bye-bye.
morning.